on, UK. How good was that on the 13th of September? And I made up my birthday. The free speech rally hosted by the one and only Tommy Robinson.
And whatever the cost may be, we shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender.
You can see I've got my t-shirt on. I think I'll wear it for the foreseeable videos. You know, that wasn't just a rally. That was a declaration of our right to free speech without fear of being, you know, arrested, censored, or worse, slung in the slammer. Despite the heavy-handed police presence and the inevitable clashes with the stand up to racism people, that wasn't, you know, people, they weren't diverted straight into the pathway of them at all. No, that was just a coinky-dink, a little coinky-dink for the police. You know, yeah, right. They did that on purpose so they could say, report on the BBC. What was it? First of all, the BBC saying there was 100,000 people there. No, there was like about 2 million, maybe more, a bit more. And I think there was about 500 of the terrorist supporters. That's what you can call them. Antifa, yeah, pieces of shite. Left-wing freaks. So we can do the get out the Uno reverse card once more and chant back to you. I chant back to you. There are many, many more of us than you. Oh, what freaks with their horrible, violent ways, as we saw the other day. But I'm saving that for another video. It looked absolutely brilliant. All the people, and my favourite part, apart from Tommy Robinson speaking all the way through, my favourite part was was obviously Elon Musk's appearance.
Congratulations, Tommy, on putting together an amazing event and really rallying the people of Britain.
Elon, none of this could have happened without you giving the British public access to the truth and giving us free speech and fighting for our free speech. So on behalf of Great Britain and the British public, we're incredibly grateful, Elon.
You're most welcome.
Because just wow, he has done so much for the UK and spoken up and said and done. He's done more for us than our own government does. They've already admitted that the priorities of the illegal migrants that they're flooding this country with, their priorities come above our own. The march wasn't about hate.
Far-right thuggery.
It was all racism.
Far-right thuggery.
Did you see how many different coloured people there were in the march? So that little line, load of shite, falls flat on its face, doesn't it? It was a march for people who want their country back. British people are awake, and they're ready to not be silenced anymore. But let's be honest, this march was born out of necessity. For too long, we have watched as our shores have been flooded with illegal migrants.
Kamera!
And it's not by accident. It's a slow plan. That's what it is. A slow plan that's been in place for years, called the Great Replacement for white British people. We are now a minority in our own country, and that needs to be reversed. And I'm not sorry about that at all. This isn't paranoia. It is the Great Replacement in action. A calculated demographic shift by globalist elites and their little puppets in Westminster. Let's be real, if we get rid of Keir Starmer, there's no one to replace him in Labour. Nobody. If you can name somebody who's decent in Labour, put it in the comments. They've opened the borders wide, brought them into hotels at the taxpayers' expense, and at everybody who lives here and was born here and loves this country's expense. Look around you. Unless you live in a posh little neighbourhood or a village, you might not have noticed it, but it won't be long before you do. Trust me. And anyone who speaks up about it is called far right.
Far-right thuggery.
And racist and blah, blah, blah.
Far-right thuggery.
But look what's happening.
These incredible acts of enrichment that we experience when the public speak out against that, do the government listen? No, of course not.
Far-right thuggery.
Look online. It's if you just watch BBC and ITV, you won't know. But go on X, go on whatever social media and look it up. It's absolutely disgusting. They're fucking vile, and I don't care. They shouldn't be here. They don't want to integrate. Islam is not compatible with the West.
How can we, re-establish the Khilafah again?
So there are three methods, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Our brothers from Hizb ut-Tahrir who believe you do some grassroots dawah, you awaken the community, you awaken the ummah, but really you seek power from a select group of elite who will give you nusra, and then you do maybe something like, but not restricted to a military coup, takeover, done.
Yeah.
Then you have our brothers who, I don't like this term, they are what you would call from the jihadi spectrum. They say that no, we cannot seek nusra because they are taghut and the army are taghut. We have to take it by force.
Yep.
We have to establish Islam by force.
Yep.
Then there are those who, even though this movement has developed through the time, they say, well, hold on here, we need to deal with the means that we have, with the mechanisms that we have.
Because of sensitivity, let us not mention certain
No, of
groups.
course not.
Okay, so we will do da'wah. And we will seek nusra from maybe the
Ahl Hali wal Aqd, or maybe the military elite.
The military elite.
Yeah. As
Yeah?
one example.
Yeah. You are working with the system, and also you have put your people in the military.
Or you give dawah to the people already in the military.
Yeah, and then, okay, when they become, those people, when they accept your da'wah, and they become part of you, have to work within the system.
To overthrow the system.
To overthrow the system.
To change the system.
To change the system.
Yeah.
It's not. So, if I could just wave a magic wand and Islam was gone from our country, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. And that's not racist. That is just because their religion is not love and peace. It's violence and death. And the leftists are with these. They're all together. They're all, and they are, as you say, you see what happened to Charlie Kirk. Them people are in the UK. They're with us. And they need watching. But they seem to get special treatment. Two-tier policing. Which is another thing. Don't take my word for it. As I say, do your own research. They are dangerous.
Yo, real quick. At no point during yesterday's show was Charlie Kirk's death celebrated.
I want to dedicate this next one to an absolute piece of shit of a human being.
At no point whatsoever.
The pronouns was, were.
But at no point was his death celebrated.
Because if you chat shit, you will get banned!
If it was, go find me a quote, go find me something that proves that we were celebrating his death.
Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, you piece of shit!
There's an example for you of a leftist terrorist organisation supporter who blatantly lies. So Bob Villain, I dedicate this video to you, you piece of shit. People are openly celebrating people's murders.
Thousands of people have gone online celebrating the passing of Charlie Kirk, and many of them are now losing their jobs. Many of the people you've seen cheering on the passing of Charlie Kirk started with this man who just moments after Charlie Kirk was struck, right in front of him, was cheering on video that Charlie Kirk was hit. Then you have this woman who was a nurse going on TikTok celebrating the passing of Charlie Kirk, and now people have found out where she works and are talking to her employers. This man who wrote this entire statement here is actually in the military, and people have already alerted Pete Hegseth, who is essentially this man's boss, and will probably be trying to do something about it. You have another woman who is a 2nd and 3rd grade teacher's aide who was posting about that she wished she would have heard of another obituary talking about Donald Trump, but instead she would settle for Charlie Kirk. And this man, probably the most prominent person to be fired after their comments on Charlie Kirk, was Matthew Dowd, who was actually working at MSNBC and went on air saying some absolutely terrible things. But more and more of these videos are coming out, and more of these people are going to be losing their jobs.
And openly calling for a white genocide.
Like in Europe, and by extension, America, Canada, and Australia, the indigenous people, cultures, and nations have now lost their right to exist in their own homelands and are now facing extinction. In fact, today it is basically a crime for an area to be too white. No school, no town, no nation is allowed to be white anymore. Yet there are no one pushing for Israel, the Middle East, Africa, or Asia to become multicultural, right? The indigenous people of Europe are treated like second-class citizens in their own countries. The governments are actively working to lift up so-called minorities and push whites down. As an example of the utter hypocrisy, Israel, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain have refused to take in refugees. So, have you seen any media footage about this? Have you seen anyone calling them racist? While white European women of childbearing age today are a small minority of 2% of the entire world's population, they are encouraged to breed outside of their own race, to throw away thousands of years of ethnic heritage and culture. The result will be that those pure genetics that have been refined in Europe for thousands of years will be gone forever.
Switched it around, and it would be, it'd be the worst thing in the world. Oh my God, look what's happened to this white man's killed a black lady on a train. No, but we didn't hear much about poor Irina. Did we? It was only people like me and obviously bigger, massive content creators and independent journalists who have spread it so much. It wasn't on the news, ITV, BBC. It wasn't on that at all. And it's just a joke, and it needs to stop. And what about these grooming gang? What about the grooming gang scandal? That's still happening. It's still happening. By 90-odd% of a certain demographic, Indian, Pakistani people. Pakistani grooming gangs. Pakistani rapist gangs, let's call it what it is. Sorry, Kiwi wants to get in on the conversation. He feels strongly about it as well. Yeah, we haven't heard much about that again, have we? Since they said they were going to do the inquiry, we haven't heard anything about it. And I just sigh when I think about that Shabana Mahmood. She's now our Home Secretary. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? But yeah, okay, I think I've rambled on enough for now. But I will be back with another video. Please give me a like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you for listening again. Peace. I thought I'd let Kiwi get the last word in, seeing as though he's trying to stop me. Peace again.